Hello everyone, my name is Adolfo Topete, and for today's ration World War II food project, it's actually I'm gonna actually have kind of a personal touch on it. During the World War II, my grandpa, along with his brother, um, migrated to United States in the Bracero program. Um, and my grandpa's brother Jesus Topete actually wrote a book, and the name of the book is Aventuras de un Bracero, the Adventures of Bracero, and pretty much the book, it relates how he migrated from Guadalajara, how he got on the train, all the way from Guadalajara to the border city and then across the border, how in the book it's mainly about his story. Like I remember, like, something that resonated a lot with me was that when he was crossing the borders, they would check his hand, and if his hand wasn't, if his hands were nice and clean, they'll be barred from coming into the United States. So they had to have like working hands, and so they could see that they actually worked in the fields prior to going to United States. And one on one of the chapters, my uncle talks about how during this time they would be given food from the landowners where they were working their crops, and they will usually get lentils. And when I was doing research on the various dishes they had, lentil was one of them. And on the book, that he relates how the entire community within that complex would gather and eat lentils. I think the story was somewhere around 30 to 40 people at the time. Pretty simple. All they had was lentils, carrots. It was a few carrots, I think. In the actual recipe for the racial recipe is two of them, but I think in my grandpa's and my uncle's case, it was way more, because they were gonna feed 30, 40 people. But it's about, it was just more about the story, like how not only it impacted just Americans, it pretty much impacted everyone that was living in the United States. So it's 2 carrots, 2 potatoes, and an onion. Well, it's actually two onions. I have one here. And bacon. So on the bacon, and the reason why this would like be so helpful during this time frame is because, I mean, it's just lentils. I mean, it's not meat or anything. It's not chicken. So it's something really easy to cook, and you could feed a lot of people, and it's high in proteins. The one that I'm using, it's called El Faraón. I was debating between that one and Goya, so I'm with Faraón. So yeah, so we'll start this process. I mean, as far as the carrots, I don't know where like what part of the United States the carrots were brought, but I know for a fact that potatoes, they were like, most of the potatoes around here in California, a lot of them came from Idaho, and it's not that far from here, so it would make sense that they'll be using potatoes. I mean, I know in this, as far as like what kind of crops my grandpa and my uncle were working on, they were usually avocado fields and citrus fields. They were, I think they were, and they would move around. They weren't just in LA. They were, I think, up north, and but the majority of the time they were in Westminster, somewhere around there in Orange County. Now I'm wondering if like other ethnic groups had like their own custom made ration dishes. I know the recipe that I found for the World War II. It said 2 slices of bacon. I don't want the entire lentils to go to waste. I'm actually gonna eat them. So just for this, I'm just gonna add 1 more bacon. But just FYI, it specifically stated 2 slices of bacon. As far as in the book, I don't think they mentioned bacon in the book. You know, I read it a long time ago that I completely forgot. I think I read that book when I was in middle school, maybe. Yeah, middle school. So like 2004. It's a long time ago. And if you guys are curious, my grandpa and my uncle, they moved back. So after the war, once the war was over, the bracero, well, actually, they actually stayed a little bit after the war, because I think they left like it was like early 50s, like 52 or 53. So the war had already ended by then. But I never asked them why they went back. I know the bracero program, it expired. I don't know if that was the reason why they went back, or they were just saving up money to, now that I think about it, I'm gonna ask my grandpa. I'm gonna call him later on and ask him. Oh, and then I do have the book. So if you guys were wondering, I have the book somewhere here. I don't know if I still have it. I don't know, my dad might have taken it. Once it starts to boil, we could go ahead and add the lentils. I think this is the time where we could go ahead and add our spices. I mean, as you guys could see, this is a big pot. This could easily feed me, I don't know, 3 days maybe. So it makes perfect sense that the federal government was, had this recipe, lentils, because I mean, it took me literally 25 minutes, 6 ingredients, and I have a dish ready. And I could potentially feed with this maybe, I don't know, 7-10 people. So, and then if you have a small family, if you're a family of 2 or 3, you could even potentially use half of the bag and half of the ingredients. It'll last you 2 days, and then next week you cook it. You do make lentils again, so it'll be fresh. So after about 30 minutes, 40 minutes, it's pretty much done already, as you guys can see. And it'll probably feed about 10-15 people. It was easy, simple. Didn't take me not longer than 30 minutes. And it was just a few ingredients. And it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. People wanted to save food, but at the same time feed as many people as possible. And I think this dish is a perfect example. And I was telling you guys about a book where I got the idea from, and I actually found it. So, Aventuras de un Bracero by Jesus Topete. And that's in that book. And in that book, that's where he explains how they had ration foods. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys liked it. Take care. Diles bye, Emiliano. Dile bye. No?